Hello everybody, my name is Knox and welcome to another Idoros video. Today we'll be talking about how to build SFX Sword Flash Shah. So let's start with the gear. As you all know, 1-3 split gear gives you the maximum attack, and this is really what you want in modes like Broken Spaces, Star Expedition, Void Vortex, Realms Gate and Void Dark Boss. This doesn't have much survivability, it has low HP, low speed, but it has the maximum attack and that is all you need against these bosses and other modes where you don't rely on your HP at all. Either HP or the speed, you don't rely on them. Otherwise, you can use full resonance gear. This is used in Dominator in Void Vortex, Realms Void Corruption 120 plus, Void Campaign, PvP, Purgatory, Tower, Seal Land. These are all modes you want some speed on your SFX, or even maximum speed. And it has lower attack, of course, compared to the 1-3 split. And it has higher HP, so you are kinda surviving a little bit more. There is also a 2-2 split, of course, which we do not use on SFX in anything, like no way we are using that, so I didn't include it here. Don't ever do that. Next up we have the stone. Now we have 3 stones normally we use on SFX. Crit damage is not bad. It's used in Realms Gate only. This is because you want consistency in Realms Gate. And with this stone, you can get up to 100% crit chance. Which means if you one-shot an enemy in round 1, you are always going to one-shot the enemy every time. So that kind of guarantees you never lose a fight in Realms Gate. And as long as you are consistent, you will never lose a fight. So that's why you want crit damage stone there. Even though crit damage part is not gonna be used because Rogan's already cap it out, it's still good to use that crit chance to the maximum. The only case where you might not need this stone for Realms Gate is if you have a crit awakening on your SFX. Even then I don't know if it's exactly 100%, but you know, it's something to consider. The next one we have is Holy Damage, where we use in PvE modes basically. Broken Space, of course, Star Expedition, Void Vortex, Void Dark Boss, and Seal Land. Now these modes doesn't require consistency, so if you don't get a crit, you can just skip the fight, do another one. It doesn't matter if you lose a fight in these modes. And it's just the highest damage potential you can have, as long as you keep critting, of course. Other than that, we have the speed attack stone. This is where you need the speed in other modes actually. So Dominator in Void Vortex, Realms 120 plus, Void Campaign, PvP, Purgatory, Aspen Dungeon, and Tower of Dream. In these modes, you might not outspeed the enemies without the speed stone. So that is where you might want to use speed attack stone instead of holy damage. And there is also another stone that can be used on SFX, which is attack, but it is only going to be used if she is a tenant, so I didn't include it here. Next up we have the artifacts. So of course, Melodic Strings is used in Void Vortex, Tower of Dream, and Void Campaign. These are the modes where getting a round 1 kill with the active is pretty important. And if you don't, it's still a lot of damage, but it won't be useful for you anymore in that mode. As long as you get to kill a round 1, you are good to go. And if you don't, you can use a Punisher in that case, like try to get a kill round 2 and then use a big active round 3. Again, for consistency in Realms Gate, and also the Void Dark boss, which I believe takes 6 rounds to complete and then you die. So Punisher has more damage output than Melodic Strings, I think. So again, like for consistency in Realms Gate, you want the Punisher, you want to maximize your crit chance. Otherwise, you can use a Melodic Strings, of course, which can clear the waves in higher corruption even without a crit, but you will still be clearing higher with just the Punisher. Other than that, we have the Antler's Cane. This is of course for bosses and Seal Land mostly. So Broken Spaces, of course. Star Expedition, as long as the fight goes to 15 rounds, as long as like you clear the map 4, I think, which unlocks the boss not killing you round 6, then you can start using Antler's Cane. And then there is Sealand, of course, where you try to kill enemies in the 15 rounds, so it is pretty good there. And we have Demon Bell here, which is an interesting artifact, it's not really an artifact for SFX, but if she is not your main carry hero, you can use her very well with a Demon Bell, because she doesn't hit AoE with the active. She only hits one enemy, which is very good in Void campaign, for example. You can use it there. I didn't write there because it's very situational. So, in campaign, in Void campaign, the heroes that might kill you are like counter-attacking heroes, or like something like Halura passive, Gaston passive. So if you don't hit all the King Bartons, for example, you will not die. Your team will not just die. That is why a Demon Bell SFX will just hit one low HP hero, so the enemy doesn't counterattack you to death. That is why it can be used. Also in Dominator, as long as you don't have a Giant Killer SFX, she won't be your main carry hero. So you can just put a Demon Bell on her, and she can also dodge some attacks, so pretty useful all around. Again, Realms Gate 120 plus. As long as she is not the main carry hero, she can be a Demon Bell feeder. And next up we have the AMB. Now AMB is of course can be used in situations where you are not outspeeding the enemies. So mostly in PvP you want the speed. And then Aspen Dungeon Purgatory, as long as you don't have enough speed to use other stones, you want the speed attack stone with the AMB to get as much speed as possible. Of course, the speed enables as well. And I think AMB can also be used in Sealand. I didn't really use it, I think. Like, I mostly use Hunter's Cane, so I'm not sure about that. But anyway, that is enough with the AMB. There are some optional artifacts here, of course. Again, Snowheart as a support SFX can be used. And Golden Crown is basically good on any hero you can put it. So it's like always a choice for any hero you have. And next up we have the enables. Now again, as always, SFX is just a damage dealing hero. Doesn't require any HP or anything, so we are just using offensive enables here. In some situations you can even remove Unbending Valve for the other one. I don't remember the name right now. And, and that will get you a lot more damage as long as you don't get one shot. And we are using CC removal here, CC Purify. But of course that changes based on your opponents. So if you are facing something that steals your attack, like a Tix or a Jahra, you can use Attribute Reduction Purify. If you are facing marks like Keris, Amon-Ra, you can use Mark Purify. A lot of choices you have. And in some bosses even, you can use the second one in the third enable, which is even more damage. And yeah, that is basically the offensive setup. Next up we have the speed setup. It is nothing different really. Just some speed enables instead of attack and you are good to go. That's all there is to it. Maximum speed. Next up we have the imprints. So we are using crit holy damage precision in most scenarios because you want to use SFX with Rogans, right? And Rogans give her a lot of crit damage. So you are already gonna be capped on the crit damage. You don't need it anymore. The most offensive you can get is crit holy damage and precision imprints. Of course, there are other combinations you can use in other modes, like you can use a damage reduction if she doesn't need that much damage. You can use control immunity if she is getting CC'd a lot. And you can even use block, like a lot of choices you have. For example, in Sealand, you don't have Rogans to support you, so you might want to use a crit damage. But I believe like damage reduction, block, and crit is the main setup for Sealand. So, if I remember correctly. Anyway, there is just combinations you can use. This is the most basic one you can use anywhere and it will work most likely. Next up, we have the Tree of Origin. Now, I'm really not sure how to make this, but I made it anyway. So, the marks, the X marks on these means these are not good origins, like origin? These are not good upgrades you can do in the Tree of Origin. So what does that mean? They are basically like almost useless. You are just wasting potatoes on these upgrades. And they are not doing much, to be honest. So the ones without marks are pretty insane upgrades, and the ones with marks are whatever upgrades. And that is why I kind of recommend the upgrades in this way. So if you just follow the numbers, you will see the best way to upgrade them. So for example, the active skill, as you can see, we want to open it as soon as we got to level 40, basically. But the next two upgrades there are pretty useless, right? And the only good upgrade is the third one. So here you might need to use 135k essence to upgrade one good upgrade, right? Basically. Meanwhile, if you just save those 135k, you can unlock the basic attack, which is here. And then you can upgrade the next good one as well. So that is two upgrades you can do, which are very good, instead of just one and two garbage ones. So that is why I kind of made it this way. You upgrade the active and then do these. And then you can go for the third one. Again, like this is two good upgrades at the end. So instead of using 3 for 1, you need to use 4 for 2, which is a better rate, of course. And yeah, basically after that, it is whatever. It takes a while to P5 a hero, so the last passive, I cannot really say much about it, but like as long as you don't unlock it yet, you can just upgrade the active all the way, I guess. So this is just my recommendation on that. And I believe that is all we got, right? Yep, that is the end. So if you have any ideas or like if I made any mistakes, let me know in the comments. And yeah, thank you for watching. If you like the video, leave a like and subscribe. If you get like good results on this video, I might continue doing other heroes as well. So yeah, I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.